Hello, everyone. Um, so this is more. I want to talk about addictive behaviors, my addictive behaviors, and how they have a nasty way of sneaking up. And so I've got busier lately and slipped into my caretaking. Being around some people I haven't known who have a lot of trauma, and I'm very good at listening, coming from my heart, and I've been stepping into that, and I love it. I love doing this. It's I just makes me have feelings here. I just love that heart connection with people. I feel so whole and complete, and I know they're so grateful. I'm very good at this, and I completely actually what I'm doing is I'm fusing with them. And not always. When I'm in a more balanced state, I don't, but um, it's so easy for me to get into just completely connecting with them and falling in love with them, and they fall in love with me anyway. And it's all very wonderful and delicious and magical, and I come away, and it can take me a while, and this happened a couple of times recently, and I started to realize that they was feeling stuck on me, their pain, and I'd lost myself, and I was sort of haunted by their stories and haunted by them, and wanting to rescue them, and then realizing that there were parts of me that were starting to feel depressed and overwhelmed. And conversely, with that happening, my eating got more unbalanced in that my weight went down a bit more, and then that part of me that loves being slim got so excited and happy that I'm weighing less. I'm trying to eat less so that I'm weighing less because I'm loving this new weight I'm at. So all this started happening, and after a few days I became more aware through, because I was feeling hopeless actually, and I looked at it all and realized in that moment this was starting to feel unmanageable. I love the 12-step language. I'm digressing, but I went to Al-Anon for a while because of my brother many, many years ago, and the tools are really invaluable. So just recognizing when I call it my stinking thinking, excuse me, when it starts to get activated, and there I was. So, and then of course what I'm trying to do, which is the other tactic, is to manage my symptoms, manage this so that I can get back to capable, grounded, solid, being able to support people but feeling good about it and whole. So, and the one thing I was not doing was actually being with my yucky feelings, being with the emptiness, the hopeless, my emptiness and my hopeless. And that's the last thing I want to do. And I know that is the way through, but it's still something that I struggle with hugely. And everybody, all the teachers talk about this, self-love, self-acceptance, but in those places I'm now learning the reality is more like I'm hanging on. I need a life jacket, a life raft. I'm sinking, and I know it sounds way extreme reaction to something that there was no crisis happening in my life at all. And I'm understanding now that I'm through this and I'm feeling good again. I wouldn't make a post from that place because I feel too ashamed, and it's just, and plus I'd just be sort of crying, and that I don't think is helpful. Who knows? I don't know. But at this point, I don't want to do something like that. And so the one thing I need to do is to be somatically with what I'm feeling and the hopeless. And of course, instead of resisting and trying to go happy, happy positivity, when the resistance increases the pain, increases the more duality feeling of wanting to be happy, but I'm feeling horrible, as opposed to simply landing where I am, and then I wouldn't have that polarization. And before I know it, all those parts of me need is to be loved as they are, because I'm bringing this, I need to be perfect, I need to be loving, I need to have boundless energy, which is not realistic. So the young ages in me, they need to be supported and loved. And I'm, on another note, I'm really understanding this, of course, this goes back to my childhood and my trauma with my dad abusing me. And I also understand the fusing piece. This was another piece. I got several pieces. So there's wins and learning with all this when one takes the time to and having to do these videos really helps me, because even if no one watches, I myself get clear, because it's a sort of a teaching, vulnerable teaching, and I actually get real and like, what the hell happened? How did this happen? And what's going on? And in a softer, gentler way. So with my dad, of course, and because this was my dad sexually abusing me, and I worshipped him. He was an incredible man, humanitarian philanthropist, amazing, intellectual, philosophical, creative, sensitive human being. And he had this very dark shadow side. I don't understand all that I just said. Parts of that I still don't make sense to me, how he could do that, being he was not one of these ignorant. We tend to think, I'm rambling and digressing, but anyway, I have tended to think that bad people, quote, are not educated, they're not sensitive, they're not creative, if they're men, they're macho, they're blah, 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 blah. My dad was none of those things. He was hugely educated in a more embodied way. Or that's maybe the wrong word, but he was very spiritual too, and very self-aware, and actually in a lot of pain. And the truth is, people that hurt other people do it because they're in a lot of pain and they cannot manage their pain. And instead of turning it inward, such as someone like me does, he turned it out. Anyway, so back to what I was saying, that there was this fusing. And because I adored my dad so much, fusing and bonding with my abuser, and sort of the Stockholm syndrome, where you identify with your abusers and you feel one with them, and you want to please them, make them happy, and you will do whatever to make them happy because they're right and they are powerful, and so there's this brainwashing and this molding that happens. So back to present times, I get when I'm really connecting, when I find another human who's willing to connect from their pain place. My dad connected with me from his pain place. So when I'm just learning this, parts of this as I actually share with you, he connected to me with his pain place for my whole childhood and early teenage years. So there was so much of me connecting with that, and it felt so real. And all my life I look for that, which is, I'm realizing why people like me want substances or addictive behaviors, because that's when we feel alive and real. So much of our society can seem superficial, and people are hiding and they're playing the game and they've got masks on. And for people like me, and I think actually all humans, but people who come from a lot of trauma, we crave real. And oddly enough, when someone's hurting you in their violent place, there's something very real or something very powerful about that. A lot of people, when they're in their nice places, they're not actually being authentic. I've just said a lot of interesting things. There'll be lots for me to move through. as I digest more of what is coming out of my mouth here, my words. The other thing I've realized is because of this with my dad, I want to fuse with humans, with people, when they really open up their heart to me, are willing to let me in. And then conversely, of course, and this goes back to my dad, I also want to just throw them away. When I'm finished that visit and I come back to my own everyday life, go home or whatever, I can feel all out of kilter. I just want to get back to me. And a part of me doesn't want to see that person again. So I have this very confusing pulling people in and then equally pushing them away. And I really try to manage and control that, because I can realize this is very confusing for people, because my heart is so wide open and they fall in love with me. And then a part of me doesn't want to see them again, but then I know that would hurt them because they need me. So then I jump through endless hoops, managing my life so I can accommodate them and visit them and make them happy. And I work so hard in the visits, trying to make the relationship feel good. Well, this is my relationship with my dad. I thought, wow. So this, I would call all this unmanageable stuff. This is not something where I can legislate, delegate, manage. All I can do, there's no answers to this kind of stuff. It's step by step trying to pay more attention to me and listen more to me, to those parts of me that haven't had a voice. And I've with all that intensity, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed and I'm feeling a bit lost and fuzzy. So I'll probably just end it on that note, because there's no conclusion. There's no magic wand to fix this kind of stuff. It's simply an awareness. That's really what all we can do, I feel. But I'll be doing more videos and I'll maybe have more to say. I will. I know me. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye.